Hi everyone, welcome back to Amaze Math. Today's topic will be on compound interest. This is Key Stage 4, Grade 10 or Year 11 work. So please stay tuned till the end and subscribe, like and comment. Let's look at some of the applications of compound interest in real life. So you can apply compound interest in investments. So let's say you want to invest in maybe real estate. Can use compound interest in buying of bonds, even when it comes to stocks, like maybe Safaricom stocks, or maybe if you're in the United States, you can think about Apple stocks. Yeah, and then maybe we can also consider high yielding savings account. So all this, they use compound interest. Another thing we can look at in compound interest is population growth. So if a country wants to know the population growth, maybe like after 10 years, there's a formula they apply which is related to compound interest. Another part you can apply compound interest is when it comes to loans. So maybe you want to apply for a loan, maybe for a mortgage to buy a new house, then maybe for personal or student loan. You realize when you borrow a student loan, so like maybe after like 5 years, you end up paying a lot of money as opposed to the money you borrowed. So they have applied compound interest. So it's better to use compound interest when you're doing investment because you earn a higher interest on your principal amount. So those are some of the applications of compound interest. So what does compound interest mean? So we need to know the meaning first of all. So this one, you invest some money, okay? So we're adding and interest and original amount. And both of them, both can earn interest. Or another way you can look at compound interest is reinvesting interest and not withdrawing. Okay, so compound interest, so you earn a certain amount of interest and then they add it to your principal amount and they keep on adding like that. And so the initial amount will earn an interest, then you add the interest, then they give you another interest. So for example, let's say we started with $100, yeah, and you wanted to invest it maybe for 3% per annum, and then this one would go for like, let's say 2 years on compound interest. So let's see how it works. But we have a formula. So we do the principal times the rate times the time divided by 100 to find the interest for the first year. So the principal is 100 times the rate, 3 times the year. So you do it per year. So 1, because the interest is per annum is per year. So divided by 100. So that would be £3. So in the first year, you've earned an interest of £3. So you come and take the initial amount, the original, so adding an interest and original amount, and the interest is 3. So you take 103. So now this would be the new principal for the second year. So we come and find the interest for the second year would be 103 times 3 times 1 all over 100. So 103 times 3 times 1 divided by 100. So at the end of the 2 years you've earned, so this will be the principal of the second year. You take the principal plus the interest earned. So that would be 106.9. So in compound interest, when you earn your interest, you don't withdraw the money, but then it's added to the next year. So they keep on adding to the next year. And that's why they came up with this formula. CI, compound interest, is P times 1 plus R over 100 power N. So the principal was 100 times 1 plus, the rate was 3 over 100, and then you're investing for 2 years. So how much is that? So we start with the 3 over 100, 3 divided by 100 plus 1, then power 2 times 100. So this was 106.09. So this is just a shorter way of doing this one. So sorry, this one was 3.09, so here there's a 0. 106.09. So it's the same thing. So instead of doing the long way where I do it per year, if you're investing for like 15 years, you don't have to do all this working out, you just use this formula. Okay, so I had to explain that before we look at the questions. So that's compound interest, and this will be really beautiful if you're considering investing. So you see, when you're investing, you put the money, like let's say in a fixed account, so you don't withdraw the amount until your number of years has elapsed. So let's say you wanted to save it in a fixed account for like 2 years or 5 years, you'll only withdraw the money after the time has gone by. Okay, and they keep on adding the interest like that. So this one is even better compared to the simple interest, because simple interest, what they do, so simple interest, let me just do this one very quickly. So we invested 100 times, the rate is 3 and the time was 2 divided by that, so that would be 6. So 100 plus 6 is just 106. So you see there's a difference. This one you're getting an extra 0.09, this is just 106. That's it, because this one they calculate it for the total years you're there, but for compound interest you'll calculate it per year. They keep on adding that. So I hope that makes sense. So let's go to the questions. So we have this formula, compound interest, or in short I can write it as compound CI, compound interest is equal to principal times, in bracket 1 plus R over 100 power N. So we can write the meaning of the P. So P is the principal or initial amount. So the initial amount you borrowed, or the initial amount you invested. R will be the rate. So the rate is normally in percent, and then N will be the years, or it can also be in months. So the question is, Beatrice invests $350 at a rate of 0.25% per month compound interest. Calculate the amount of money Beatrice has at the end of 5 years. Give your answer to the nearest dollar. So we'll apply this formula. Okay, so we say solution will be, so we need to write all the things that you've been given in the question. So we can see we have that Beatrice invested 350. So 350 would be the P at a rate of, the rate is 0.25% per month, and then the time is 5 years. So we need to convert the 5 years to months, because the rate is in months. So 1 year is 12 months, so we do times 12. This one will be 60 months. Now applying the formula, so we substitute. So we are finding the compound interest. So compound interest therefore would be P is 350 times bracket 1 plus 0.25 all over 100, because it's 100, and then power 60. So the time you've converted it to We've converted the time to months. So now get your calculator. And here, we need to start with whatever is in the bracket. BIDMAS, PEMDAS, BODMAS, all that. So we start with whatever is in the bracket. So we can start with the 0.25, 0.25 divided by 100. Let me put it on this side. 0.25 divided by 100 is that. Then the next part we're adding 1, so plus 1. Okay, and then it's power 60. So power, we use this sign, power 60. So we're done with whatever is in the bracket. Then you do times 350 times 350. So at the end of the day, we're getting 406.56. So the question, in the question, give your answer to the nearest dollar. So we round up this one to the nearest dollar will be 5 is greater than. So 5 is, if a number is 5 or more than 5, round up the next number. So that will be 407. So calculate the amount of money Beatrice has at the end of the 5 years. We have 407. If you wanted to see only the interest earned, you'll take the 407 minus the amount we initially invested. So if we do 407 minus 350, so the total interest would have been 57. But for this question, they just want us to give your answer to the nearest dollar and to calculate the amount of money she had at the end of the 5 years. So including the interest earned. And this question was 3 marks worth. So I got these questions from the past IGCSE papers. So this one is the 42 series. This is the paper 4, extended or higher, and it's for February, March last year. So that's the kind of questions they did. So from the series 0580 42 February, March 2023, question number 1D. So Gabrielle invests $500 at a rate of R% per year compound interest. At the end of 8 years, the value of Gabrielle's investment is $609.20. Find the value of R. So here we don't have the rate, but we can write the formula CI equals to P times 1 plus R over 100 power N. So P is the principal, R is the rate, N is the number of years or the months. So here at the end of the 8 years we had 609. So 609.20 will be the compound interest earned. So 609.20. P is the initial amount. She invested 500 times 1 plus R over 100. And the N is the number of years, 8 years. So the compound interest per year, compound interest, so this is 8. Okay, so we need to find R. R is the unknown. So the first thing is you identify what is attached to the unknown. We have 500 times. So you do the opposite of times is division. So you divide on both sides by 500. Okay, so here we have 609.20 divided by 500. So 1.2184. So this will cancel with that. So at least now we're left with the unknown. So 1 plus R over 100. So the next thing we have power 8. So the opposite of power 8 would be the 8th root. So on both sides you do the 8th root. So we come and do shift 8, you do 8 and then shift and that sign, and then the answer, because the answer was already there, 1.2184, so that will give us 1.204. Okay, let me write it here. 1.204. 0.0249997. I'll just put it until here, so 7 until here, so this one will round up to 7 equals to, so when you do the 8th root, so this 8 and this 8 would cancel and you're left with this without the power, so 1 plus r over 100. Now the next thing is we separate this one from here, so they're both connected by addition, so we do the opposite of addition, minus 1 on both sides, and here we're left with 0.024997 equals to 1 minus 1 is 0, r over 100. Then to get rid of the 100, we do times 100 on both sides because it's division here, so opposite of division is times. Cancel that one with that. And then, so let me just do it on the calculator. So here you did minus 1, then times 100. So it will be 2.49. So we can round it up to 1 dp. So 2.5. So 2.5 equals to r. So we can say r equals to 2.5%. Now you see the amount of money you earn depends on the rate. So if you have a smaller rate like 2.5, you won't get such a high amount. But let's say if they give you a rate of maybe like 6, then that means your money will be more. So that will mark the end of our lesson today. I'll make another video. We'll do more questions in the next video, compound interest. So please make sure you stay tuned and watch this video till the end. And see this compound interest, you can even use it when you're old, when you're a grown-up, when you're an adult, you want to invest, you can consider using compound interest. Even there's another thing called mutual funds, and they apply compound interest. So for compound interest, it's very good when you have a long-term project. So you start planning in advance. So let's say in the next 5 years, you want to have a certain amount of money. You start investing little by little. Yeah, and even government bonds. There's also some, I forgot to mention something on bonds. So bonds is when you're like, you're loaning out to the government. So let's say you invest like 100,000, let's say like 100,000 Kenyan shilling, and you put it out for like 10 years. So every year the government will be paying you a certain amount of interest, and then at the end of the 10 years, they will give you your total amount of money earned. So it's a good project for when you don't want to use that money, like you don't want to access that money. It even cultivates discipline. Anyway, without talking much, let's end it there. Next video, I'll do more questions. So this video, we were looking at the February-March 2023. So this is the paper they did last year, the IGCSE papers. Yeah, and it can cut across the board for even American. It's the same concept. The Kenyan system is the same concept of compound interest. So memorize that formula by heart. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.